Hey there Titans, in this video we'll talk about working with conditions on the Titan word-addin for Titan docs and Titan sign. Okay, we can have conditions on almost anything and on our template. So it could be on any text or any input elements, any merged elements from Salesforce or tables or you name it. Okay, so the simplest way to demonstrate this, we can select any text. So it could be just this text or everything in here, and just all we got to do is insert edit condition either from here, or we can right click and head over to Form Titan and insert edit condition. Alright, so on our condition we can either select from object or we can select from a hidden field, and I'll show you that in just a second. And right now I'm working with a single object in Salesforce. I've mapped data from an account object, so I can select that. And if you have multiple objects that you're pulling into the template, you'll be able to have a condition for each of these. So you can, once you select your record that you're working with, you can select anything that you can choose from and then just run a condition. So for instance, I could say I want to display this text only when the account name equals to whatever I'm typing here. Just notice that if you're working with Hebrew or non-Latin language, you can set this condition using hidden, which I'll show you in just a minute, but you cannot type in directly a non-Latin language into the condition. Another thing to mention is whenever you're working, let's say I have a drop down in Salesforce, a pick list field or multi-pick list fields. As we know in Salesforce, you have API name and a label for these fields. The Titan doc will always, template will always see the labels and not the API names, so keep that in mind. Another thing when working with multi-pick lists in Salesforce, you want to use includes or excludes or equals not equals, but these are the includes and excludes are specifically for drop downs and multi-pick lists in Salesforce. The rest of it, includes or excludes or, very nice, in not in whenever you're working with IDs or in a string of text. Greater than, less than for numbers, is empty, is not empty. Very simple. We could use it for numbers or for text as well. And also contains, not contains, specifically for text. Could also be used for numbers in some scenarios. And needless to say, we can add as many conditions as we want, and we can make it as complex as we want. So we can say account type equals something, and then we can say that also the account description equals to something else, and so on and so forth. And you can have and, or, and you can also use brackets if you need to have a very complex condition. Okay, so when working with non-Latin language, all we want to do is insert, manage hidden fields. We'll click on that, and then we can insert anything we want, either from a web project, depending on where you're building your template from, but normally it would be static or dynamic, and we can query that from Salesforce. Very important to notice, do not use the same queries you're using for data. Don't use the same queries for hiddens. Always create a new one, and the ones that you created for hiddens, don't map data from there. In our instance, we're just going to keep it simple. So let's say I have a static value. I call the hidden some condition, and I have a value in Hebrew here. And the way for me to use this is, again, I'll select some text here, and I'll do insert edit condition. And then all I got to do is give it something from the record. Let's say account name equals or not equals anything I want to do. And I'll say equals some condition. That's my hidden. And I'll insert, and that's what will it will render or not render according to that condition. Another thing to keep in mind is, and again, you can select the entire page or select any text you like. You can also nest conditions one within another. One thing to notice is whenever you want to edit the condition, you can always put your cursor anywhere within that condition. You do insert edit condition, and it will pull up that condition. You can also delete the condition if you like. What I would like to show you here is whenever you're working with tables, with Titan tables, you can have a condition on a cell, on multi-cells, or in the entire column, and same goes for the row condition. So you can have an entire row according to a condition, and it will render that row or not according to whatever you put in there. And this is how it's done.